thing is, you know, kind of let the fish tell you what they want. 1 hour to the next changes. The sun goes out, or sun is out, the sun goes down, or big clouds come in. There's all kinds of changes out there that these fish are reacting to. It's kind of amazing, just as far as colors we're running on harnesses. Some days we always usually run a variety. We never, well, we say put all of our eggs in one basket. We never put all of our inlines running at one depth if that's what's catching. We never run all 4 or more lines with the same color. Just a real quick story, like a couple years ago at the championship, we had 2 different main colors out there, or 3. The sun would go down or get behind a cloud, and 2 of the colors would start firing. As soon as the sun come out, you know, glaring down on the water again, the other 2 would fire and the other 2 would cool off. It just, I guess, little tricks or whatever you want to call it to keep the fish biting, even though conditions are changing all the time. Anybody got any questions or anything while we're going along? Spit them out.
Who usually makes the first decision on what to put on?
Usually, we usually pre-fish out in 2 different boats. So we'll come up with a game plan and figure out what we want to start with. If we got certain color combinations that normally are working pre-fishing, you know, he'll tell me and I'll try them and this and that, and we'll try to figure out what works best. Usually I got my side of the boat and he's got his.
That's usually how we start. We have, like everybody, we have colors that we're working pre-fishing, and so, you know, we make sure that if he picks 2 colors, that I pick 2 different colors, so that again we have variety out there, especially to start. But it really is, you know, as far as what we start with, we just talk about it and sometimes argue about it maybe for a minute or 2, and then finally come to consensus.
But, you know, last year at the championship, whatever worked good during pre-fishing, I don't think worked good at all 3 days of the tournament. So,
it changed. I think every day, the best color every day changed across the 3 days. The best color, and so that's again where if we would have said, hey, this worked great yesterday, let's put more of these on, we might have missed that best color for each individual day.
You got to have enough faith in trying your best colors, but you got to have enough guts or whatever to put it away and say it's done. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
What kind of rule of thumb are you using on speed when you're bottom bouncing?
Typically 1 mile an hour would be where we would start. I would say I'm not patient enough to go much below about 0.8. Just seems like I'm not moving anywhere. But 0.8 to 1.2 would be the normal range. There would be times we would go outside that range, but you know, day in and day out, it would be 1 mile an hour.
Just
when you talk colors, are you talking bead colors or spinner colors?
Both.
You know, usually, as far as beads, you see a lot of people's bead colors out there. They, you know, put 6 beads on there and they're all different colors. Personally, me, I kind of stick with just solid colored beads. You know, all white, all chartreuse, all orange, purples, whatever, and just start switching blades out. It's just an easy way for me, and trying to match bead colors with certain blade colors is just a pain in the butt. You know, I don't have that much room in the boat to match up every blades I got.
And I would agree. I like to run, like we've got one up here that's chartreuse with a black in the middle, for an example. I like to run, I don't usually run every other, but I tell you right now, we run a lot of chartreuse, a lot of pink, and a lot of white. Those are our base colors when it comes to beads. And we will occasionally throw a black or a green or a red in the middle of that sequence. But very little of like 2 green, 2 red, and orange, and a black. We don't do a lot of that typically.
I think the fish are keying in on certain colors for the light conditions, for the water conditions. That helps them, you know, see it or attract to it. So, like I just said 5 minutes ago, keep the variety out there. Keep 4 different colors out there and just switch the blades out.
Bleeds on your harnesses for bottom bouncers, are they the same as they are for inline weights, or are they different?
Basically the same.
Same.
It's going to be probably, I mean, 95% of them are going to be 5.5 to 6 foot long. I mean, I'm real scientific when I tie harnesses. I do that and I cut it and then I start tying it. So if I screw the knot up and I got to shorten it, then that one is maybe 4 or 5 inches shorter than the previous one. But that's basically, you know, somewhere around 6 foot. We've caught them on behind bouncers on 3 foot harnesses, playing around, just seeing how short we could go. So it doesn't have to be that. It just seems to be a nice length.
You ever run floats?
No,
Very
much.
Very seldom. And I couldn't even, I mean, so seldom I couldn't tell you the last time that I did. Yeah.
What about rattle beads?
We do play around with it a little bit.
When water gets dirty, we'll tie up harnesses just for that to get a little bit more noise on there.
You know, it's just like a crank or a reef runner. They got rattles in them. It's something to attract the fish, something to get their attention, something to, you know, with a harness you're talking thump from the blade and the natural smell of the worm. But yeah, we try rattles.
How often do you experiment with the blade sizes in relation to the time of years? Do you go bigger in the spring, or?
Yeah, we'll start off like I think Travis might know this a little bit more, but a lot of the bait fish are eaten up during the winter from the walleye, the perch, the white bass, and that kind of stuff. I think what's left, a lot of the bigger bait fish are left in the spring. We'll start off with some big blades to experiment, not all of them, you know. Since bigger bait fish are left in the spring, and when these fish, I think, come out of the winter or out of the cold and they get into that warm water, I think they want to, you know, gorge themselves and fill up. So yeah, we'll you know, let's say we got 4 rods out there, we'll try 1 or 2 rods with a bigger blade, just see what happens.
Do you ever run like size 8 blades, real big?
Yeah, 8s. I took must have been like in 07 or 06 when the 2003 hatch were just, you know, suicidal 15 inchers, 16, 18 inchers. I actually took a cowbell for steelhead fishing, and I mean the spinners on that are easily 4 inches top to bottom. And I tried it one day off in Geneva, we were catching fish after fish of all those 16, 15, 17 inchers. And sure enough, even with a blade that literally was that big, top to bottom, they would still hit it. Probably twice the size of a number 8 blade. So yeah, I run a lot of 8s. For me, it seems like that is year to year specific. Like last year for me, big blades, I just couldn't get them to work as good. 2 years ago, they were really good for me. Doesn't mean that nobody could, but I just struggled last year with getting big blades to work consistently.
We had that same problem last year. We tried the bigger blades and we just couldn't get them to go.
Yeah, 2 years ago they were great for me. I mean, I was trying to take Dan's hubcaps off of his truck and paint them. I wanted bigger blades. But last year it just wasn't the case.
Flip side too is we will go smaller at times. You get a cold front or something, I think, that kind of shuts the fish down. Going from a 5 to 6 blade, go to something real small once, just to get rid of that hard thumping, or get rid of the image that there's a big, say, bait fish swimming out there that he wants to eat. Get something that's maybe a little smaller. I kind of equate it to you guys or somebody else not feeling quite well or something. You know, you're down at home a little bit. Eat just a little meal instead of something big. That could be from 1 hour to the next. That's why we're saying up here, you know, figure out what the fish want you to, figure out what they want, and you got to be willing to sacrifice what you got out there and pull it in and change it.